Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Got a ton to talk about in today's video. Steam has hit a major milestone and now it has over 30,000 games available for purchase, and that is not including DLC or the software they also have. They've also got various television shows and movies, but we're just talking strictly games, and they have hit that 30,000 mark. 30,000 sounds impressive, but we'll talk about what that really means. Are all of those games really that good? And do you really want to play all of those 30,000 games? Probably not. Also, with a major update, Windows 10 is going to claim 7 GB of storage for future updates on your storage device. A little bit of a disappointment, but I'll go over their statement as to why they're doing this. Also, we've talked a lot about games moving away from Steam and being released on their own platform. Of course, one publisher that is big on this is Bethesda. Fallout 76 was exclusive to Bethesda's platform, and we were expecting that games like Rage 2 would also be exclusive, but somebody on Reddit actually pointed out that Rage 2 over on Amazon, that listing has it listed as a Steam title, so want to go over that. And then I also want to round out the video by taking a look at a fantastic deal available right now for Tales of Vesperia, the Definitive Edition. This game just came out, going for $49.99, which is a hefty price, but the Razer store has got a significant discount on it, so we'll mention that at the end of this video. First up, PC Gamer pointed out that Steam now has 30,000 games available to purchase, and again, that is not including DLC, software, television, movies, anything like that. These are 30,000 standalone games that you can buy. And the thing about this, while we're talking about games moving away from Steam, in actuality, if we're talking the sheer magnitude and number of games being released on Steam, that is going up every year. According to Steam Spy, north of 9,000 games were released in 2018 and 6,700 games were released in 2017. Steam has been around for a very long time, but if you combine those 2 years' numbers, over 50% of the games that have been released on Steam have come in the last 2 years, so you can see that the game releases on Steam is just ramping up and ramping up. Now, are all of these games really good? Let's be real. 9,300 games were released in a standalone year. There is no possible way that all of those games are good. I would say that there's no possible way that 10% of those games are good. 10% of 9,300 is 930 games. Are we getting 930 good games a year? I highly doubt it. And honestly, me saying the word good is probably a bad word to use, because honestly, I'm not playing all 9,300 games. It's impossible for me to do so. But let's just be real. Of those 9,300 games, a lot of those games nobody has any interest in. Nobody is going to be picking them up, which is unfortunate. I know a lot of developers do pour a lot of time, effort, money into developing these games, and a lot of the times us gamers just don't give it the time of day, but that's because a large majority of those 9,300 games are just not worth the time of day. And even without me playing all of those games, I can confidently say that. To me, it's getting to a point where Steam is getting over-influxed with a lot of games, which necessarily isn't a bad thing. Hey, if the bad games are available on Steam, I can just avoid those games. And let's be real, even though there's 9,300 games, there is maybe a 3 to 5% of those games that are actually really good. And guess what? 3 to 5% of 9,300 is still a lot of games. I know I'm one that always goes through the new games that are released on Steam, and yes, I have to dig and dig, but there are a lot of times where I just find hidden gems. There's one game that I discovered earlier and I added it to my wish list. It's an early access title that's starting to get a lot more attention, but I doubt a lot of you guys know about it, and it's known as Bright Memory Episode 1. Look up this game. It's $6.99. It's in early access, but this is one of those hidden gems that's just randomly released, and right now on Steam, it's getting a lot of reviews. 1,951 reviews are posted already, and it's sitting at overwhelmingly positive at 96%, so that's pretty impressive. We just see these underrated gems sometimes fly through, and they don't get a lot of attention. That game, personally, it's an early access title, so I'm not big on early access games, but one that I have added to my wish list, and there are games like that that do get released on Steam, but because there's just so much garbage also released, sometimes games like this do fall a little bit under the radar. But I definitely want to hear what you guys think. Are you like me? Do you actually shift through all of the games that are available on Steam and try to find these hidden gems? Or are you the kind of person that can't be bothered to do that? You check out the big games, you check out the games that Steam actually heavily promotes, which I do think limits your overall experience as a PC gamer, because a lot of these games just do fall under the radar so much and they're hard to find. And if you end up not adding it to your wish list and you just forget about it a year down the line, it's gonna be completely forgotten about. It didn't get much attention when it was released. Well, a year later, that game is just gonna become a forgotten relic, and unfortunately, that is the case with a lot of the Steam game releases. Rightfully so in a lot of the cases, because the games aren't very good. But in few cases, there are actually great games that do become these forgotten relics over time. So that's just something I wanted to cover. We'll see. Is 2019 gonna bring with it a lot more game releases? The increase in 2018 from 2017 was pretty big. 6,727 to 9,327 2018. Is that increase going to continue, or will it taper off at some point? And is it going to come to a point where the major publishers begin to leave Steam, but Steam just puts out all of these smaller titles? And at that point, is Steam as attractive of an option? Instead, we have all of these segregated platforms. That would suck. But that might be the world we're heading into as a PC gamer. Moving on from that, Windows 10 is rolling out a pretty major update that not a lot of people are talking about, but I feel like you guys need to know about it. It's actually going to earmark around 7 gigabytes of storage space from your hard drive or SSD for future updates, apps, temporary files, and system caches on some PCs. Here's what Microsoft said in a blog post. Quote, "Our goal is to improve the day-to-day function of your PC by ensuring critical OS functions always have access to disk space. Without reserved storage, if a user almost fills up his or her storage, several Windows and application scenarios become unreliable. Windows and application scenarios may not work as expected if they need free space to function. With reserved storage, updates, apps, temporary files, and caches are also less likely to take away from valuable free space and should continue to operate as expected." Now, 7 gigabytes is the number that's being thrown around by Microsoft. Microsoft specifically said that they plan to start at about 7 gigabytes, so it could be higher, it could be a little bit lower. We'll see how it plays out. A little bit of a disappointment. I wish Microsoft would have found a different way to circumvent the issue, but hey, if it is going to improve overall performance, and if it is something that they do need to do, 7 gigabytes isn't going to really be the make or break factor. But if you are running on like a 120 gigabyte SSD, yeah, 7 gigabytes is actually a pretty sizable amount to strip away from that. 120 gig SSDs is kind of what we were going for back in like 2012, 2013. If you did want to get an SSD in your rig, you were getting a 120 gigabyte SSD because SSDs were still so expensive. At this point in 2019, I think the majority of you guys are getting 240 gigs or 500 gigs, so 7 gigabytes being taken away, I don't think that's a big deal. Also, I do want to quickly mention Rage 2. This is a game that I'm excited for. Unfortunately, the issue that has arose is that a lot of people expect this game to be exclusive to the Bethesda platform. It's not available on Steam right now, and you can already pre-order the game on Bethesda. You can also pre-order the game on Amazon, an online game code for the title. And Amazon does have the DRM for the game listed as Steam. I don't know if Amazon has a heads up on it. It still comes across a little bit weird to me. Like, if this game was going to be on Steam, why not just list the game? But currently, it's not available on Steam. I would really be interested to see how a game like Rage 2 does if it was exclusive to the Bethesda platform, because with Fallout 76, as bad of a game as that was, it's still Fallout. That's got a lot of name value. The brand of Fallout is huge. The brand value of Rage, not as big, and I don't know if people would be willing to jump on over to the Bethesda platform for a game like Rage 2. And considering that Fallout 76 turned a lot of gamers off, now you're also fighting the battle of, do I jump over to the Bethesda platform? Do I continue to support Bethesda even after they put out Fallout 76 just to play Rage 2? I think there's a lot of issues that could arise if Rage 2 was a Bethesda platform exclusive, and I really do hope that if that was the plan from Bethesda, that they rethink that at the very least, maybe do a delayed release on Steam. Bethesda is just having a lot of backlash right now to release a game like Rage 2 exclusively on the Bethesda platform. I think that would only add to that. So again, that's something we'll see how it plays out. Amazon does have it listed as a Steam release. And lastly, for all of you guys that watch my videos and love JRPGs, you guys know that I'm a big fan of the Tales of franchise, and Tales of Vesperia, the definitive edition, was just released on PC. It's a very good port, all things considered. If you have decent hardware, you can easily play the game at 4K and 60 frames per second. It goes up to like 500 FPS, so it's really good. However, that $49.99 price point is keeping a lot of people at bay for now. However, the Razer Game Store has a great deal on the game. For whatever reason, they have the regular price of this game listed at $39.99 already, and then they're running a 20% off discount on it, so it's down to $32. A fantastic price for TOV. And it is a fantastic JRPG. Now, I have been replaying it, and this is a game that I'm super nostalgic with, so just going into it, it was already gonna win me over, but I have noticed some dated elements, just with the enemies always respawning and just corridors being filled with enemies. I think that's kinda lame, but still, the storytelling in this game is so good, the visuals are great, and it has one of the most likable casts of characters in a JRPG ever, with one of the best main characters in any video game. Honestly, Yuri is just such a likable character, and he is a great character to take the helm of the story. And usually with a genre like JRPGs, the main character is a big issue a lot of times. You have these characters that just aren't likable, that are just grating. But in the case of Yuri, the main character in Tales of Vesperia, I don't find that to be the case at all. And of course, with the definitive edition, there was a lot of additional content added, extra playable characters, extra story scenarios, all that good stuff. $32, I would say, is a great buy for that, so I'll leave a link to that in the description box down below. So that's gonna conclude this video, guys. Again, 30,000 games are available to buy on Steam, but let's be real, how many of them are really good and how many of them are bad, I would say the bad is around 27,000 and the good is maybe at 3,000. That number might even be a little bit generous. Also, Windows 10 is going to roll out a pretty major update. It's going to claim around 7 gigabytes of storage space. Is Rage 2 going to come to Steam? Amazon is suggesting so, and again, I'll leave that link to that great deal on Tales of Vesperia in the description box down below. $32 for that is an awesome deal. That's going to wrap up this one. If you guys have a request for a future video, leave it in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.